Here we are, back at the garden. Back a few months ago, we did some filming and we showed you the planting of the garden. We had prepared the soil, got the soil ready, and then we were planting the lettuce and the cabbage and the broccoli over here on this side. Most of that's already been harvested, but when we also planted seed over here, we planted 3 different types of squash: zucchini, yellow squash, spaghetti squash, and as you can see, those seeds have come up and now we're producing an abundant harvest. There's so many lessons to be learned from a garden. First, there's the seed. You get the seed, a little tiny seed, and you plant them in the ground. And the Bible talks about seed, time, and harvest. And so when we first planted those seed in the ground, you watch it for days and nothing seems to be happening. And it's kind of like that in our lives. We plant seed, we sow seed, and we hope to get a return and a harvest from it. Sometimes that takes time, just like with the garden. It took time for those seeds to come up, but then all of a sudden, the tiny sprouts of the plant started coming up. And from those tiny sprouts, this is what has happened. And here we have the spaghetti squash. We keep these watered morning and evening. They look a little wilty right now, but they'll come back. It's important that you keep your water coming in. But we have spaghetti squash. We've already harvested a few. This one's still a small one. But if we walk right out this way, now this one is starting to turn a sort of a yellow color, and it's just about ready to harvest. And then on the next row over, we have zucchini. Look right here. That was probably about 3/4 that size yesterday. And that is how fast they grow, and we've had an abundant harvest. So, and then the next row over, we have yellow squash. And again, they have been prolific. This one was much smaller yesterday, but now ready to harvest today. Now the next rows we have tomatoes, and we've been harvesting tomatoes daily. I'll look at a little bit to see which ones are red and ready to harvest. And then as we move on down through here, if you'll notice, I have some helpers. And I love to have my helpers. Hey guys, come here a minute. They are busy right now picking beans. This is James. This is my daughter Casey's son. This is Jeremiah. This is my daughter Crystal's son. And this is Samuel. This is Crystal's son as well. And they've been coming this summer and helping me take care of everything. We have a whole bucket of beans already picked, and then they started picking this morning. But if you'll notice, here's some. We have a lot of beans and a lot more coming. And I couldn't do it without the help of these guys. You know, but another important aspect of a garden is keeping the weeds out. And that's something that we haven't done as good a job with this summer as we'd like to. But it's something that's very important, because if you don't keep the weeds out, they will overtake your garden and you won't have a good harvest. Same way in our lives. Whenever we don't keep the weeds out of our heart, things can grow there that don't need to be there. And you also have to protect the garden against outside things coming in. For instance, last night I put my cows and calves in the pasture behind the garden here so they could graze on the clover that's back there. Woke up this morning to 3 of the calves were in the garden. Now, as cute as that was, it wasn't the right place for them. So I had to get them out of the garden. What are the things we need to get out of the garden of our heart so that we can have a relationship to the Lord that we need and not allow those things to overshadow what He wants to do in our lives so that He can do what He wants to do through our lives. Let's walk out here and look at a couple of these weeds. Sam, you've got gloves on. Come here a minute. Okay. So here's this don't belong here. And James is going to pull that up. And And if you notice, we try to be very diligent when we pull weeds up to pull it up by the root. And at Living Waters, that's part of what we do, is to help people get to the root of things in their lives, because once you deal with it at the root, it can't come back. That weed will not come back because we pulled it up at the root. So they're going to finish this row out. And if you look over, it's been a long time since I've had corn this tall. Now, to get a perspective, I'm 6'2". So my corn is almost 10 foot tall at the tallest point. And this corn here is just now getting ready to harvest. Each stalk of corn usually produces 2 ears of corn. Now you think, well, that's not a whole lot, but we planted 2 kernels or 3 kernels of seed in the ground, and we get, how many kernels are on an ear of corn? Anybody want to guess? I don't know. You don't know either. It depends on the size of that ear of corn. But the harvest is plentiful. The harvest is plentiful. Let's walk on down here to a little bit farther. Right here we have another row, 2 rows of beans. They're growing right now. Got to get some weeds out, and then we're going to need to put some panels here so they can climb. These are called Kentucky Wonder pole beans, and they are going to produce. Here I have another type of corn, and this corn is just about ready. But on this row here, we've already been harvesting from these 3 rows of corn right here, and these are ready to go. Let's pick one right here. So when you pick that corn, you pull these called shucks back. And all of y'all have heard about shucking corn. And right here, you can see the beautiful ear of corn. This is what's called peaches and cream. So it's got some yellow, it's a blend of yellow and white corn together. And that's going to be really good. I think I'm going to enjoy that tonight for dinner. Y'all want to come over for dinner tonight? And then we have another 2 rows of corn here, and mixed in with this corn are beans. And this is Blue Lake pole beans with this corn. This corn is Golden King, which is a yellow corn. Now they're just now starting, the corn's just now starting to come onto these. But you can see here the beans are starting to grow. And there's some of these beans that are going to be ready to pick here today. So the boys are here to help me harvest this. Next 2 rows here is okra. Now some people love okra, some people hate okra. But this is okra, and as you can see, some of it's already starting to bloom, so it won't be long. There's actually a little bitty okra right there, pod right there that's coming on. And as you go out through here, you'll see these blooms starting to come on. Once it starts blooming, it will start producing the fruit. Moving on down here, right here, a row of white potatoes, and these will be ready to harvest this fall. We've harvested a few. I have 2 more rows back up in the garden, and we've harvested a few already, and they are delicious. And so this whole row is potatoes, and then down here we have some cabbage, 2 different types of cabbage. We have a purple cabbage and then the regular white cabbage. As you can see, this is a really nice head of cabbage here. That's ready to pull and somebody enjoy some good coleslaw. And then we have broccoli. We've already harvested this broccoli once. We're going to pick some of what is still good on here. And then we have some more tomatoes. So we have had a great garden this year, and just wanted to share this with you. But just remember, everything in life, whether we're doing gardening or whether it's work or whether I'm out here farming, God is always wanting to show us lessons that we can learn from His creation and the things that He gave us to enjoy. So learn those lessons and be sure and weed your garden today, the garden of your heart. God bless you. Have a great day.